Hi, welcome to QA Scripts. In this video, we will learn how to use select command in WebDriver. What are the different select methods we have and how to perform using some real-time examples. Selecting an option or item from select drop-down is not same as click method in Selenium WebDriver, because in case of click method we were having click method directly, so that whenever we want to click on any elements on application such as button, links or radio buttons, we can use dot click method along with driver dot find element. But we don't have direct method to select option or item from select dropdown in our Selenium WebDriver. Instead of that, we have separate class called select in WebDriver. By using select class, we have to create an object. After creating an object, we will be able to use all the methods of select class. The first and foremost point we have to remember is select class will work only with the element which is having select tag in HTML. What it means? Let us have look at our web page and let us try to understand what is select tag. Now I am on hdfcbank.com web page. Here we have a element called accounts and deposits. By look wise it looks like drop down, because here is a down arrow mark, and when you click on it will expand and it will display some of the options or items to select. So from front end it looks like a drop down, but when you use Firebug and try to identify the element that is accounts and deposits, here it is not having select tag. Instead it is having div tag. So for this kind of elements we cannot use select class. Then where we can use select class? Let me go to another page called personal loan. Here there is a select box. When I use Firebug to identify the select city drop down, here it will clearly displaying select tag. And when we expand select tag, there are so many options such as 24 paragraph n and select city. So those are the options in this drop down. So this kind of elements, the elements which are having select tag, for them we can use select class and methods to select the options or deselect the options. Let us understand how to create object using select class. Here is the syntax. First we have to use select keyword, then an object name, it may be anything but relevant to the object drop down, then equals to new. Again use select keyword. Here we have to pass parameters. What parameters we have to pass is the parameters such as element locator of that particular element. It may be using ID or XPath. So here I am giving syntax saying driver dot find element by dot ID. As I was telling, it can be identified by ID. The element can be identified by XPath or whatever. So you have to give that element locators here in the as a parameter to the select command. After creating object, we'll be having access to use all the methods from select. Let us see what are the different methods we have. We have one important method called selectByIndex. Second method is selectByValue. Third method is selectByVisibleText. These are the three methods. By using these methods, we can select the options or items from select dropdown, or the dropdown which are having the the select dropdown. We can use these three methods to select one or multiple options from dropdown. There is another method called deselectByIndex, deselectByValue, and deselectByVisibleText. These are the three methods will help us to deselect the selected options from dropdown. There is another method called deselectAll. If we use deselectAll, all the selected dropdown options will get unselected or deselected. getOptions. This will help us to get the count of options from dropdown. getAllSelectedOptions. If your application having a dropdown with the facility like selecting multiple options at a time, if you use getSelectedAll, it will return the selected values. getFirstSelectedOption. This method will help us to know that what is the option already selected by default. There is multiple. This method will help us to identify whether the dropdown is having facility of selecting multiple dropdown options or single dropdown options. We will discuss in detail with example in further slides. Let us start looking at what is selectByIndex. This method will allow to select options based on index. Now question comes, what is index here? Before coming to know what is index, let us have what is the syntax we can use. Syntax is we have to create object, then we have to use select index. Let us say I have created object called select. After typing select dot, I will get selectByIndex. I can use selectByIndex. Here I have to pass index in terms of numbers like 0, 1, 2, so and so, based upon the options you would like to select from dropdown. What is index? Virtually, Selenium WebDriver will give numbers to each options present in dropdown starting from 0. If you look at the snap here, I have expanded or clicked on down arrow mark of dropdown called select city. In that select city, we have so many options or items to select. Virtually, Selenium WebDriver will give numbers to these options. Let us say select city is the first option. To that index, what Selenium WebDriver will give is 0. For second option, the index will be assigned to option is 1. For third option, it will be 2. For fourth option, it will be 3. It will continue. So Selenium WebDriver will give a index for each and every options from top to bottom. By using this indexing number or the position number of option, we can select the item or options from select dropdown. Where it is useful. If the drop down values are getting changed every time and you want to select only first position option or second position option irrespective of value, then we can use. Think that your application is having drop down, but the drop down values are getting changed every time because of previous actions. Like in previous action you might have selected one link. Based upon that link it will change the value. For example, think that there is a drop down called country, and beside that there is a drop down called state. If you select India from country drop down, automatically in the state drop down it will list all the states related to India, like Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, so on so. But if you select USA in country drop down, in the state drop down obviously this options will be related to USA country, not India country. So here the options in the select drop down are getting changed based upon the previous selections. In this case, if you want to select third state from the state drop down irrespective of label or option, at that time you can go for index method, that is index select by index, and you can pass the index accordingly. Here I am going to use select city from my application and I will try to select second option. Here is the sample code. Let us go back to Eclipse and let us see how can we use select by index method of select class. Here I have created a class called example select and I have declared WebDriver object using WebDriver interface and web element variable using web element class. Inside the main method I have used Firefox driver class to launch the Firefox, and I have used a website URL here and maximizing. After that I am using select class. If you want to use select class, first you have to use a keyword called select. Let me show you first. Here as soon as you type select, since the select is class present in some other package, it will not identify immediately. To make this identify by Eclipse or by your script, you have to import the package of select class. Here there are two packages. One is org.openqa.selenium.support.ui and there is another package called org.apache.bcel.generic. This is different package. Don't worry about org.apache package and don't import, but you have to import the package called org.openqa.selenium.support. Click on that. It will import the package definition here. After that you can create object using the class. Here I have created an object with a name called cell_city equals to new select, and in this class I am passing as a parameter such as driver dot find element by dot id, because the select city drop down is getting identified by id called ddlcity. Let us look at in browser. Here is the drop down what I would like to work on and select option. Let me use Firebug and click on select city. If you are able to see the tag here, that is select, and it is highlighting select city drop down, and the IDE is DDL city. So I can use DDL city directly to identify this. And in this drop down we have different values. So when I was explaining how the index will assign to each and every option. First and foremost option will get index as 0. Second option will be having index 1 and so on so. Here I would like to select and use index as 2. When I say 2, it will select above her as the option, because in the select drop down, select city drop down, the third option or item is above her. So when I use select by index and when I pass index as 2, it will select this value. If I pass 4, then it will select okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it should select Achalpur as an option from this drop down. Let us see how exactly the script will work. So here I have used index as 2, and let me run this script and see what option it will get selected. This script execution has started. Browser got launched and it is navigating to the page called personal loan, and it will maximize the browser first. Then it is selecting the above her value because I have given index as 2. Now let us change the index. I will change the index from 2 to let's say 4. Okay, so as per our understanding, the fourth option is something like Halchal. So let's try to execute this code and see what is the option it will get selected. The script started execution and launched the browser, and now it is trying to select fourth option, that is Achalpur. Sorry, I said Achal, so I didn't know that the value it is Achalpur present at the fourth position, and when I say select by index and when I pass index as 4, it is selecting Achalpur as the value. This is how we can use select by index. Now let us see select by value. There is another important method called select by value. Here select by value is nothing but the script will select the options or items from drop down based upon the value. And here is the syntax, that is select dot select by value, and you have to pass the value in double inverted quote. Then question comes, what is value? For each option or item in drop down, developer will give a value. It will be given a unique value. If I here is the snap I have taken from same website of personal loan. When you click on drop down, that is select city, it will have options along with value. Let us go back to our Firefox, then we will able to understand clearly what is the value. Here is the page that is personal loan. When I try to identify by using Firebug, it is getting identified by DDL city, and when I expand, here there is a value keyword. This value will be having its own unique value, that is, for example, in this case it's a 24 Pargons N, and here is the option displayed. So each and every options will be having its own value. In this case, value as well as options are same, but sometime it will not be same. Let us look at another website where options will be different and value will be different. I have one website called redbus.in, and here is the payment option. I have selected credit card as option, and when I try to enter credit card information, there is a drop down called expiry date. Here the drop down is month and year. If you click on the down arrow mark, here I am able to see options such as Jan 01, Feb 02, so and so. Let me try to use Firebug and identify this drop down. So this drop down is getting identified by ID, but if you expand this select tag, here the options are Jan 01, whereas value is 01. 02 is value and option for that value is Feb 02. Like that, the value will be different and options will be different. If you want to select the options by using value, you have to give the value this one. You have to take the consideration for value, such as if you want to select Feb, then you have to pass 02. There can be value and options same or different. As I was explaining, the options as well as value can be same or different. It depends upon the developer. What is the use of select by value? Think that you are trying to automate the credit card functionality where we have month drop down. We have written one generic or reusable method to select option from month drop down. If we use the text or the value, not actually value, the text as it is displayed in the drop down, then it may differ from website to website. Let us try to look at two different websites. As I was explaining, here is the redbus.in website where we have a page called select payment. In that select payment, I have selected credit card. When I look at the expiry date, month, date, it is having value such as Jan 01, Feb 02, March 03, so and so. Think that you have written one method to select option based on the text which is appearing, that is by using Jan 01. But think that you are having one more website to automate. There also you need to select expiry date. Let us go to another website. Here I have one more website from travel agency, and here also there is a expiry date, same functionality. If you click the down arrow mark, now you are able to see 01, 02 as month. In previous page it is Jan 01, Feb 02, but here it is a 01, 02. So if you want to select by the text what it is appearing here, the script will not work, because the way here we need to pass the text is different, and the way we have to pass the text in Redbus is different. In this case, instead of going for the text or options what it is displayed in the drop down, let us go click on the drop down by using Firebug, and let us take the consideration of value. Here value is 01 for Jan, 02 for Feb 02 in this redbus.in. And if you look at another website, and when you try to identify by Firebug and expand it, here also the value will be same, that is 01, 02, 03, so and so. So in this case you can use select by value instead of select by any other methods, so that select by value will going to select the options based upon the value, not based upon the text which is appearing in this drop down. How to use select by value method? Here I have used same select class, and I have created one object called select cell city, and here I have passed the element locator by using driver.findElement as a parameter to the class select, and I have used the select by value and given the value as it is appearing. Let us go back to Eclipse and try to automate this. I have used the old class, that is example select, and here I have modified as select dot cell city dot select by value, and here I am passing value. Let us look at application and try to understand what is the value it is displaying. Here is the page called personal loan and select city drop down. When I try to identify and expand, here I am getting values for each and every options. Let us take above her as a value, then it has to select above her from drop down here. This has to select. If we pass some other value, then the corresponding option has to be selected from this drop down. Let us try to execute the script. Script execution has started. Browser got launched and navigating to the website, and it will get expanded. The browser will get expanded. Now it has selected the above her option from drop down because I have given value for above her only. This is how we can use select by value method. There is another important method called selectByVisibleText. This method will allow to select option based upon the not actually value I have given wrongly here, but based on the visible text. What is visible text here? Before looking at visible text, let us try to understand what is the syntax. That is select dot select by visible text. Here you have to pass the text of the option from the drop down. Let me change this sentence. It's not actually based on value, it's based upon visible text. Okay, I have changed to saying that it's based upon visible text. What is visible text? The visible text is nothing but the text of text or label of your option which is displayed in your drop down. Let us look at the snap. Here when you expand or when you click on down arrow mark, you will be able to see lot of options as 24 paragraphs above her, so and so. That text is nothing but visible text. Let us look at Firefox browser and website. Here is my drop down called select city. Let me use Firebug, and when I try to identify using Firebug, it will give the select tag, and when you expand select tag, here there are so many options. What are the options here? These are the text or label which are getting displayed here in the drop down. So visible text is nothing but the text or label which is appearing inside the drop down. So as it is appearing, we can give the same text here. For example, if I want to select Adoni, we can give this Adoni as a parameter to the method called selectByVisibleText with double quote. Let me use this Adoni and try to select by using script. Here is the script. I have used example select class only, and I have modified the method here saying cell city select by visible text, and I have given the text of option, that is Adoni as it is appearing in the drop down. Remember, here you should not use space because the space will not be present in the drop down. So if you use a space or the character change, it will not going to work because the script will be case sensitive. Instead of passing A as capital letter, if you pass small letter, then the script will not select and it will fail at this step, saying that the option is not present in the drop down. So while using selectByVisibleText, please use the same text or label which is appearing in the drop down. Let me execute this code. Browser has got launched and it has pasted the URL. Now it has selected Adoni option from the drop down. It is based upon the visible text. Where it is useful? It is useful to select on all pages by text which is appearing inside the drop down. So here is the syntax how to use. So this is all about select by visible text. Now let us look at deselect commands. We have three different deselect commands as I was explaining in the second slide. That is deselect by index. What is this deselect by index? It is nothing but it's going to deselect the selected options by index. It's exactly opposite to select by index. So we have to pass index number to deselect the option. Let us look at the syntax how to use deselect by index method. Here I have created a method called selMulti by using select class, and I'm taking another website as an example. Here I'm passing driver.findElement by.css locator, and I have passed the CSS element locator to identify, and this is a multi selection option. Let us look at syntax how to use. Here I am using select by index and I am saying 1. Please remember, before using select by index, we should select the option. We should have selected the option of index 1, then only this method will work. Hence I have used select by index 1 and then I have used deselect by index 1. Let us try to understand using application. This is my inbuilt application. Here everything is coded and it's just no static page. It's not going to do any transactions or it will not move to another page. It's just for example I have coded and created this page. Now let us look at one element. Here it says that multiple select values. Here I can select one option by selecting, or I can also select multiple options by using control keyword. I think you might have experienced this kind of multi selections if you use Naukri.com. In Naukri.com we will be having one select drop down such as your desired country to work. In that select multiple drop down, you can select 3 different countries at a time using control keyword. So here is the multiple selection. So what I will select, first I will select the option QA script -2 because that is the index what it is pointing. When I say select by index 1, it will select a QA scripts -1, and it will deselect by using deselect by index 1. Let us try to write a script and execute it. I am using a old class, that is example select. In that I have changed the URL here, and here I am trying to pass the element locators by using CSS selector to the select class, because the element is getting identified by CSS locator. Let me use Firebug, and here is the element locator. It is trying to identify is multi please select. Of course I can use a name also, but for my convenient I have used a CSS locator here. After that I have given some wait statement, and I have used select by index 1. So I am passing 1 so that I can select the option called QA scripts -2. Then I am using a wait statement again, and I am going to use deselect by index 1 because it is already selected, and now it will deselect. Let me execute this script, and let's see how it is going to select and deselect by using index. So now it has selected the index 1, that is QA script, and immediately deselected it. This is how we can use deselect by index. Then another method we have is deselect by value. It is exactly opposite to select by value. Here we are going to give value of option, and we will deselect it. Here I have coded first to select a value called QA scripts -1. Then I will use deselect method. Of course here I have used wrongly, that is select by value only. I will make this as deselect by value in script. Here is the code I have used in the same class called example select. First I have used select by value. Here I am passing value of one option. If you look at the website, here the second option as value something like ms2 and first option as ms1. So I will take ms2 as a value, so that I will use a select by value method first, so that it will select this option. Then I will use a deselect by value, and again I will use ms2 in script, so that it will deselect the second option. Let us try to execute this code. So it has selected second option, that is QA script -2, and deselected immediately. This is how we can use deselect by method from select class. Now let us look at another method called deselect by visible text. It is exactly opposite to select by visible text. So here we will going to pass visible text, that is the text or label of option directly in the double quote. First we will use select by visible text, because if you want to use deselect by visible text, first the option must be selected. Hence I have used cell multi dot select by visible text. Then I have used cell multi dot select by deselect by visible text. Let us see with code in Eclipse. I am using old class again, and I am modifying. Now I am using select by visible text, and I will select QA scripts -1. Then I will use deselect to deselect the QA script by using the text visible in the drop down, that is the options here. The options are labeled. I am going to select QA scripts first and deselect by using deselectByVisibleText. Let us execute this piece of code and see how the script will work. So it's selected the QA script -1 and immediately it is deselected. So like this you can use deselectByVisibleText method using select class. There is another important method called deselectAll. As name suggests, if we use deselectAll, it will deselect all selected options from the drop down. Here is the syntax. We have to use object, that is cell multi in my case, and dot deselect. Let us look at the script and how exactly the script is going to work. I am using old class and modifying this script. Here, as usual, I have coded to select first and second options by index, so that I have used selectByIndex method, and at the end I have used deselectAll. So what actually it will do is, it will first select options like QA-script -2, QA-script -3, and immediately it will deselect all of these two options from drop down. Let us try to execute this script and understand how the deselectAll method will work. Script started execution and it has launched the browser. It has selected QA-script -2, QA-script -3, and immediately it has deselected. This is how we can use deselectAll. This is very useful if your application or functionality asks to deselect all at a time from the drop down. You can use deselectAll. If you need to select one option at a time, then you can either go for deselectByIndex or deselectByValue or deselectByVisibleText. Next method is getOptions. This is very useful and important option in select class. This method helps to get all options items from drop down. For example, if you have so many options in the drop downs, I want to get the text of all the drop downs. Then I want to compare with my expected one, and I want to get the count of options present in the drop down. In that conditions or situations, you can use getOptions. As I was telling, this method is useful when you want to get the text of expected value from the drop down. So if text is present or option is present, expected option is present in the drop down, then you can go ahead and select. If not present, then you can fail your script saying that the expected option is not present in the drop down. Here is the code to select one option and count the number of options and also verify whether the expected option is present or not. Let me go to Eclipse and let us see how we can code and execute. Here I have modified the example select class in such a way that I can use getOptions method here. So what actually I have done is, instead of using my customized application, again I'm using the personal loan web page, and I have created object for another drop down called year set current residency. In this drop down we have some options such as year set current residence 0 to 1 years, 0 to 1 2 years, so and so till more than 6 years. So these are the different options we have. Let us count how many options are there. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So totally 6 options are present in this drop down. Now let us come back to our script, and here we will see what I think I have done mistake while counting. So how many are there totally? It's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, yeah, total 7 options are there if you try take it from 0, but the count will take it from 1, right? So total number of options present in this drop down is 8. So first what I'm doing, I'm using a select class and creating object called current residence, or CURRES, and I'm passing the element locators as a parameter to select class using driver.findElement by.id, and this is the element locators, it is getting identified. After that, what I'm using here is I'm using list interface to get the options, because when you use get options, it will be in terms of array. So if instead of using array, I'm using list interface to collect all the arrays into a object called O size. So I will save all the options of drop down into a variable called O size, and here I will try to get the size of that particular array list. So the size will be how many values are present in that drop down, that will be the size, and here it will display the message saying that total number of options are the number it will display based upon the number of options which are present inside the drop down. Then I will use for loop, that is int I equals to 0, I is less than O size O size dot size and I plus plus, that's as usual syntax. Then I will use object dot get options dot get I dot get text. So this will help us to get the option value one by one, because I have used I equals to 0. So it will start from 0th position, that is first it will take the years at current residency and it will print out. Then the for loop will iterate back and it will make I as 1. When I becomes 1, this will move to next position, that is 0 to 1 years, and it will take it out, and like that it will go on take the value from the option, because here I have used get text method as well. Then I will assign to another string variable called yes value every time as it moves down. Then I will display here, and here since the condition is I have to verify whether my expected value is present in the drop down or not. Here I am expecting 1 to 2 years option should be present inside the drop down. That's why I am trying to compare my expected value with actual values, that is s value dot equals my expected value, that is 1 to 2 years. If s value has got the expected value, that is 1 to 2 years, then this becomes true, the condition becomes true, then it will come inside the if loop, and I have used here select by visible text, so it will select the years. Let us try to execute this code and see whether it's working properly or not. Let's get execution started. It is navigating to the page that is personal loan, and it's going to maximize the browser and selected the option called 1 to 2 years from the drop down. Let us look at Eclipse. Here I am able to see all the messages what I have published. The first message what it is saying that total number of options are 8 because total 8 options are there in that drop down. Then using system.out.println using for loop as well, I am trying to print out each value out here, that is years at current residence. That is a first option present inside the drop down, that is years at current residence, then 0 to 1 year. So that is the second option it has displayed, and it has continued to display till more than 6 years. Since the drop down as expected value, that is 1 to 2 years, then it will go inside the if loop, and it has selected the option called 1 to 2 years in the drop down. This is how we can use getOptions method. Then there is a option called getFirstSelectedOption. This method helps to get first selected option from drop down. Suppose if one value already selected before you navigate to the current page, then you can use first selected option. This will return what is the already selected option from the drop down. How can we use get first selected option method is use object dot get selected option. Here is the syntax. Where to use? Yes, as I was telling you, it will help us to return the selected value by default. Here is the code where I am trying to get already selected option. In this example, the first selected value is, let's look at our apply. Here the selected option by default is years at current residence. So if we use get first selected option method, it will return this value, that is years at current residence. If it is selected something else by default, then that particular label or text will be displayed over there. Let us look at the code. So here I have modified the example select class. Here what I have done, I have used first select here is the object, that is current residence, and I have used get first selected option to that object, and I have assigned to another variable called first selected option, which has a data type, that is web element. Here I am trying to print the text out of it by using get text. So this get text will return and it will print what is the current selected option in the drop down. Let us execute this piece of code and let's see how actually the script will work. So script is started execution. It will launch the browser. And since year set current residence is the selected one, let us see what is the option it has printed. So here it is printed saying that years at current residence, because that is a default option it has got selected before we navigate to that particular page. Another method is get all selected option. This method will help us to get all selected options from the drop down. As name suggests, this is very helpful in case of multi-selection options. This is the syntax we can use, that is multi dot get all selected options. Here cell multi is object we have created using select class. So here is the code. Let us look at by using Eclipse. Here is the code where I have used my application. That is what I have developed. There we have multi selection drop down. First I will use an object saying cell multi object, and I will select two options by using select by index, that is 1, and select by index by 2. And when I use select get all selected options, this will get options already selected and assigned to a array variable. Here I have used list interface, and I have used for loop so that I can iterate so many times, like till the size of selected value array becomes empty, and each and every value I am trying to print it out here using selected values dot get I dot get text. So get I is nothing but it will iterate for each and every element, and it will display from the starting starting value till end of this selected values dot size. Let us look at application. Here is application. Here we'll select first option, that is QA-script-2, then QA-script-2 3, and I think by default one option will be selected, that is QA-script-4. So all of these three will be displayed out in the console. Let us try to execute. Script started execution. It has selected QA-script-2, QA-script-3, and as I was telling, QA-script-4 was already selected. Now let us look at console. So in the console, I am able to see the messages saying selected options are, this is a message it is displaying, and here are the runtime values it is getting displayed, that is QA-script-2, QA-script-3, QA-script-4, because these are the three options it has selected. By using get all selected options, we can retrieve and display all the selected options, and it's very useful in case of multi-select drop downs. Then another last method from select class is multiple. This method will return true or false based upon the drop down nature. If drop down is a multi selection drop down, then is multiple will return true, else it will return false. What is a multi selectable drop down is? This is what we call as a multi-selection drop-down. Here we can select more than one option using control keyword. Whereas there is another drop-down here, like batch 1, batch 2, batch 3. Here we cannot able to select more than one option. It will allow only one option to select. So this is single select option. This is multi-select option. So is multi option is very helpful to get to know whether the drop down is multiple selectable option or single selectable option drop down. Let us see the syntax. Here is the syntax. How can we use multiple? Since it's returning true or false, so I will put that into if loop. Then I will print out the message, something like select drop down allows to select multiple option. If it is true, then I will print out select drop down does not allow to select multiple option if it is single drop down. Let us see in Eclipse. Here is the code. I have used my website, that is QA-script, and here I have used cell multi method. When you use a cell multi method, I can use is multiple method. Here is the method called is multiple, and it will return boolean. So if it the drop down is a multiple option drop down, then it will return true, and this message will display out here. Let me execute this code. So it has launched the browser and verified whether this drop down is multiple selectable option or not. Now look at the Eclipse here. Since that drop down is multiple selectable drop down, then it is true value it is getting returned. Hence, I am getting the message as select drop down allows to select multiple option. This is how we can use is multiple option or method from select class. These are the different methods we are going to use in real time when we want to select, deselect or get options from the drop down element. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions or doubts or clarifications, you can contact us using the mail ID, that is info@qascripts.com. QAscripts, there is another mail ID, that is qascripts25@gmail.com. You can also call us on the number, that is 8095916908. Thank you again for watching this video. If you like, please subscribe it. Thank you.